your weekly in-depth view of agriculture up close. This is In the Field. There is no doubt there are many obstacles in farming, whether you're starting out at a young age or more seasoned. We're here to meet Marsha Marlin and learn, as she said, how she got her wings and learned to fly. Well, Marsha, thank you so much for welcoming us to your farm. And we're sitting here in Berry County outside of Crane, which is just south of where I got to grow up. And we are in true God's country when it comes to raising having cow-calf operations here in the Ozarks. And so I want you to tell us your story. And from the very beginning, always had farming and agriculture in your blood. But it was later in life when you actually got to put it into action. Take me to the beginning and where you kind of first got that bug.
Well, I was raised in Berry County, not too far from here, in about seven miles. I can still go there, and it's still a farm, thank goodness. My dad, I remember him always being out in the hayfield or checking cattle or whatever like that, but back in the 70s, girls didn't get to do that. And it was just the beginning of women coming, doing different things, architects, attorneys, surgeons, that type of thing. But women farmers, we had a ways to go. I remember one day wanting to go out into the field with him and couldn't. My mom, she said, "No, you have no business out there." And I remember standing there watching him out in the field, in the alfalfa field, haul hay in, and crying while I was ironing his coveralls and going, I wanted to be out there.
Well, fast forward a few years.
Yes.
And you had a professional career in the insurance business.
Yes.
And but you still had that itch, that bug.
That burn. It's a burn. When people call it a passion, I call it a burn. I call it a fire. It's a fire. Let's just say it. It's a fire in your belly, and it doesn't go away. And you have to. It comes to the point at some time you have to take action on it. And
you took action.
I did.
9 years ago.
9 years ago. I took the bull by the horns and I said...
Literally, maybe?
Yeah, literally. I'm going to do this. And I've had an opportunity to run my own farm and raise the cattle I wanted to raise and do it my way, and I did. I started.
The experiences that you've been able to cultivate the last couple of years on your own farm, led you into some great successes over the years. And, one of those is you just won, you were the very first female to ever win the Ozark Empire Fair's hay competition. Lots of trial and error, maybe?
Yes, lots of trial and error. And that first year, 2012, man, I was so proud of my hay. The extension agent came out here, and bless his heart, he was so kind. And my hay, oh goodness, I thought it was the best in the world, and I got dead last. I got seventh out of seventh, and I wanted to learn how to make better hay for my cattle, because that's who I was feeding it to.
So 2019,
yes.
We would not probably still assume that there's gender barriers out there or glass ceilings out there for women. But in agriculture, we're still seeing that. What has been the greatest challenge for you as a female kind of stepping into it? And I face it every day, into a quote-unquote man's world.
It is definitely a good old boys network around here. And I'll give you an example that I think is pretty sad, but I met a female buyer at one of the local stockyards, and I was just like, wow, I love what you do. Tell me more about it. And she said, I get to buy a few. And I said, really? And she goes, yeah. She said, I'd love to expand my business. But she said, the male buyers up there, she said, they let me buy a few. I don't get them all bought. But she said, they'll run them up on me. And I was just like, wow. To me, that was sad. That we still face those challenges in the farming world when we should be embracing newcomers and people who want to farm, even though they may think different than we do. It's tough being a woman out there. Sometimes I'm the only woman at the sale barn. Maybe there's 2 or 3 of us. It's not as prevalent as, say, in the architect world or the medical field or even the attorneys these days. Women, we're growing in numbers. According to the last census, that we are growing in numbers, especially here in Missouri.